Welcome back to the Glow Girl Glow podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Center, and this is a space where we have real, raw, and necessary conversations about stepping into the life that you were meant to live. So, what if I told you that fear has been running the show in your life for way too long? That it has been keeping you from everything you've ever wanted. So, it's keeping you small, it's keeping you stuck, and basically just second guessing yourself. And what if I told you that faith, not fear, faith is the only way that you're going to step into the life that's waiting for you? Does that scare you a little bit? I hope it doesn't. So today we're going to be flipping the script a little bit, right? So we're talking about what happens when you stop making fear-based decisions and start moving in faith. Just saying that just gave me goosebumps. So, because let's be real, how many times have you just stopped yourself from going after something because of what could go wrong? But what if this happens? But what if instead you ask yourself, man, what if it goes right? What if I succeed? So if this sounds like something that is right up your alley or an episode that you can use, stick around. Let's get into it. All right. So how often do we say things like, I'm just doing it scared, or I don't want to fail, or I can't afford to take that risk? So fear just has a way of making us truly believe that playing it safe is just the best option at the time, right? And I get it. Like, we've all been conditioned to be cautious, to avoid failure, just to make sure we have everything figured out before we make a move. Like, that's fair. That's logical. I'm a planner. I'm a strategist. So I am here for all of that. But real talk, has fear really been protecting you though? Like, if you sit back and think about it, tell me about a time when fear has protected you versus it being like life or death. Like, what was a time where fear actually protected you? Or has it just been like keeping you in the same space? So God's word tells us that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So that means faith is going to require us to believe in something before we see it. Like, what a concept, right? And I know that's hard. That's really, really hard. But for those of us who believe in God, and if you listen to this podcast, I'm sure you are one of us. We can't see God, but we still believe. We feel God. We know He's there. We know His presence is there, right? And that is just a part of our faith walk, right? So you've already practiced and you've pumped your faith muscle. But faith is what is going to move us forward. Like, even when we don't have all the answers, even though we can't see God's face, we know He's there. We know He's guiding us, and that helps us to get closer to Him too, right? So I've been just in a place where I've just kind of had to stand at a crossroad where fear was just screaming at me like, girl, stay where it's safe. I keep going back to this example. When I took the leap of faith and I left corporate America to jump into entrepreneurship, that is like one of the scariest leaps, and he called it a leap of faith for a reason. But that's one of the scariest jumps to be able to do, right? It was like the devil and the angel, right? On one shoulder. Like, on one shoulder, it was like, girl, you better not, what your parents be saying, girl, you better not leave that good government job. And then on the other end, it's like, girl, God is like, I got you. I'm telling you to step out. It's about to be some amazing things that's about to happen for you. But I need you to keep your eyes on me. I need you to focus on me. And I need you to trust me that I got your back, right? So just thinking about that, I'm looking side to side like, ooh, comfy corporate job versus stepping out on faith, trusting God, not knowing what's going to happen, but being able to live the life that I know I want to live. Ooh, so I'm just going back and forth, right? But I just had to align myself with the thought that something is greater on the other side of this decision for me. So there was a moment where I literally had to choose. Was I going to let fear dictate my next move, or was I going to step out on faith. I was scared, no doubt. I was scared. There was no blueprint to be like, okay, do this and do that. It was like, you take a step and then God will reveal something. And then you take another step and he will reveal something else. But you still can't see the end in sight, but you are just kind of like keeping your eyes on him. When you step out on faith, obviously you feel like there's no guarantees. And then you just get this nudge from God, like, move, move, move. So that was me. When I could not ignore it any longer with God just telling me to move away from corporate. And I finally did it. I talked it over with my husband as well, got his blessing. And I finally did it. And the doors that fear told me would never open, baby, I kicked them doors down, okay? Kicked them doors down. I killed it in real estate, and I'm still rocking it, right? I'm still rocking it. And I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you and say it's easy, because when you take a faith walk, there's always going to be times where you may lose your faith a little bit. You may be a little afraid, or you may feel like God forgot about you. But those are the moments where you hold on to the faith. You give God those you said prayers, you know what I'm saying? Because God is faithful and he's going to stand true to the promise that he gave us, right? But honestly, like looking back, I realized that everything that I was afraid of was nothing in comparison to what was waiting for me on the other side of faith. So when I was in my corporate comfy job and I was in HR and I was loving it because I love people, I love connecting, I love process, I love procedure. But I was always that cool HR person, right? The HR person that people was like, I can't believe you work in HR. And I didn't know no better. I thought this was like where I was going to be and where I was going to retire from. But now that I'm on the other side of it, like I now know that everything that I learned and dealt with and got through in HR was really setting me up nicely to be an amazing realtor. So if you've never worked in HR, I know they seem like two very different fields, but it's a lot of similarities in HR, believe it or not. So, but now, I've left something that I thought was going to bring me so much happiness to step into some amazing opportunities, right? So I get to build my own business. I get to leave a legacy for my daughter. I get to meet new clients. I get to connect with people on a whole nother level that I could never do in corporate. I am a believer, right? And obviously in the workplace, that's just a thing that you just don't talk about. But because I've been able to step away from corporate and start my own business, I'm open to freely be my whole self. I'm able to bring my whole self to my business, my whole self to my clients. And it has truly allowed me to align with and connect with the people that God has sent for me to service. He has sent for me to minister to help, or to show them the inspiration or motivation that they need, right? So had corporate still been in the way, I obviously wouldn't able to be full-time into my real estate career. I wouldn't have had the capacity to start the Glow Girl Glow community. I would not have the capacity to be talking to you on this podcast today, because goals would have been really different. So I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to be able to step out on faith and truly start to live the life that I know I want to live. Like, I've had speaking engagements, I've been on other podcasts, and I'm truly showing up as that version of my higher self that I've always pictured, but I never previously pursued because I felt like it was out of reach. I felt like it was just a dream. I felt like, well, I need to play it safe because I have a really good job. I'm able to provide for my family. I'm able to take vacations. I'm able to save money, able to buy a house and do all the things. But at the end of the day, if you feel like you're still not thriving, if you feel like you're still not walking in your purpose, then what good is it anyway, sis? Like, what good is it to stay there? So I'm going to encourage you and challenge you to take that leap of faith, girl. Do that thing, girl. Take that job, girl. Move to that state or move back home or whatever it is, whatever that thing is for you. I want you to do it. I really want you to do it. So where in your life has fear just been running the freaking show? Like, Is it your career? Is it your relationship? Is it a dream that you have just been like pushing to the wayside, or like, oh, I could never do that, or I'm a mom now, or I'm too old, or you're just bogged down by everybody else and what everybody else got going on and showing up for everybody else, and you have not showed up for you. Now, I want you to think about, what if you started making decisions from a place of faith instead of fear? Because here's what I know for sure, right? So fear is going to keep you stuck and faith is going to move you forward. I just gave you a amazing example of truly how that worked out for me in real life. So fear is going to tell you, wait for the perfect time, wait for the perfect moment. Faith is going to say, girl, take that first step, and the rest will follow, right? Fear is going to magnify everything that can go wrong. Faith is going to say, you get a point, but here's all the things that could go right, right? So fear will have you rehearsing like those worst case scenarios, and faith is going to shift your focus to all the amazing possibilities, right? And that's the side that I want to be on. I don't know about you, but that's the side that I want to be on. Fear is just based on what you see, right? Faith is more spiritual. It is trusting what you can't see. And let's be real, some of the best things that have helped in your life probably weren't things that you predicted or things that were within your control. Stop me when I'm telling a lie. All right, so let's do something together, right? So because I never want you to feel like you're alone. I want you to do something today, and I know I challenge you all the time, so get used to it. So do something today for you. I want you to write down a decision that you've been making from a place of fear. If you don't want to write, girl, just think about it. Think about something that you've done because of like fear made you do it or not do the thing, right? Now, I want you to rethink that thing, or if you're writing, rewrite it as if you were operating from faith, right? So what's different? What's the difference, right? How does it feel when you operate from a place of faith? Like, what does it actually look like now that you are looking at the faith aspect versus the fear aspect? So what could change if you truly believe that God would do that thing that he said he was going to do, that God was actually going to have your back, right? That God was actually going to be the father that he told you that he was, that God was actually going to be faithful and staying true to his word. Like, what if? And then once you've done all that, I want you got to do it. It's always the action part that y'all be like, okay, now, yeah, it's the action. That's what's going to propel you forward. So you're going to have to take a step, sis. You're going to have to make some action. You're going to have to do, right? I want you to take a step towards that faith-based decision that you just thought about or that you just wrote down. And then let's talk about it. You can drop it in the Glow Girl Glow community. Let's walk in faith together, right? You got a whole bunch of faith walkers in the Glow Girl Glow community that can help you, that can support you, and that can lift you up. Okay, girl, so we've made it to the end of this episode. Some things I just want you to walk away with is knowing that and being aware that fear, it may try to hold you back. So even when you try to take that step forward, it may try to hold you back, but faith will always take you much further than fear ever could. So if this episode spoke to you, please share with a friend who just might need this message today. You never know. If you haven't already, come join us at the Glow Girl Glow community. This is a space where women just like you are learning to walk boldly in faith. The link is in the show notes, and I hope to see you there. Keep glowing and growing. I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye.